Serious Scotty
And
Dividend.
in this corner, we have the TDS boys here to break down Jake Paul or Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. We have the fight of the weekend because I don't know if it's going to be on.
That's a question of Teddy Atlas or who the hell are you trying to be?
Yeah.
But like I was saying, this is going to be the big fight of the weekend. I don't really think it's going to be an all-time classic, but I think it's going to be something that's going to catch people's attention, and that's what we're here for.
For sure.
Now, on for this fight game, we have Scotty Dividends, our betting analysis, and we got Electric Dave, our Vegas resident, and big time parlay
Snake
money
Eyes, baby.
maker.
Snake Eyes, let it all ride on Snake Eyes, baby.
Yeah.
So this Saturday, there's going to be an exhibition match between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. It's going to be 3 8-minute rounds. It's not sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, okay, but it is going to be a primetime fight that is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view. So you know what, they're not sanctioned, but they're trying to get their money.
Yes,
so
sir.
Floyd is about his money, and we don't think that he come back to lose any fights. But we do have a couple advantages that Logan Paul has. And Scotty, you were just breaking that down, so I'm going to let you break it down for everybody. What you're seeing as the big advantages off the bat.
So Mayweather's a smart guy, and I think that Logan Paul has 3 advantages in this fight. He's coming in at 190 pounds. Floyd Mayweather's coming in at 160 pounds, and he can't come in heavier than that. So Logan Paul also has a longer reach, and he's a lot younger, right? We're looking at the odds right now. Floyd Mayweather is at -1,000 right now, and Paul is at +600. Like you said, they're trying to get this money. And Floyd Mayweather, he's a smart guy, man. He's not going to take any fight that he doesn't think that he can 99% chance of winning. You know what I mean? So this, in my opinion, this is like just for entertainment. It's not even it's going to be. Is there a chance that Logan Paul can land that one shot that he's talking about? No, I don't think so. Not at all. I think.
Well, you know what? Then that actually gives me a great question here. Then, Dave.
Hold up. That was what I was going to say before you asked that question. Is that because I know that statement felt like Scotty Dividends was trying to give Floyd that little bit of the shade, a little bit though, in the sense of the every fight that he can win 99%, which is every fight. 99% of those fights. Everybody like to, call out my boy Floyd. I'm gonna just stay like I always have been a Floyd fan. Floyd. They told him to go out there and fight Pacquiao. All right. Yes, it was past his prime. Fought Pacquiao. De La Hoya, come and get this A side. Got that A side. Canelo's the number 1 pound for pound right now. To Canelo 0. So, a lot of the guys that we're talking about, Vargas, anybody you put out, Mayweather, you might want to, Maidana, everybody, he beat him. So you can only beat the people in front of you. So I'm going to just say it like that.
Okay, so then before we then get to my question, then I'll say this. I do like Mayweather, but also they say he avoided Pacquiao in his prime and fought him after his prime, so he didn't have to get that smoke. So there are people that used to say that, but this is not what I wanted to get into. That's a whole different topic. What I do want to know from you, David, that was a past the prime fight. That's a different fight here. But what I'm talking about here right now.
Well, how old was it? Oh, come on, man. Here we go. Don't get me started on that.
I love it when you get.
Okay. Let's bring it back here. We're talking about Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, right? Okay. Yeah. What do you think that Logan stands any chance? Do you think he can win a couple rounds even? Like, what do you think? What do you think that Logan's going to be able to do?
I'm a quote what a great mind once said. No. And Scotty Dividends just said it. No. And a great man spoke those words.
You don't think he can win a single round?
Spoke him about a minute ago. Absolutely not. I don't think that Paul has a even slight chance at beating him in a boxing ring. I mean,
what I'm saying,
I don't even think it's going to go 2 rounds.
You don't think he can get a single round?
Absolutely not. There's not a chance that he goes out and outboxes Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the greats in boxing. I don't care what way you want to paint it. He was in the ring with these guys that you want to call out and say behind his prime, in front of his prime. Don't matter. The reality is that the man beat him, put him in front of him and beat him. Olympic, silver medalist because he got robbed. But at the end of the day, Floyd is one of the top guys in boxing. How are you going to throw him out there against an amateur YouTuber who's got an 0-2 record or something like that? In exhibition matches.
You know why I think Floyd took this match? Because everyone was always saying, okay, he's, he runs and he does the boxing and he fights a boxing fight. But I think he took this fight because why? He's gonna open a can of whoop ass on this boy.
100%.
And I think I'm gonna call it right now. It's gonna be a knockout. I definitely think he's gonna knock this kid out.
You know what Floyd Mayweather said? He said, "Listen, I'm not making any money from these pay-per-views anymore. I need one last payday. Yo, Paul boys, you giving everybody these bread trains? Come get these hands. Let me get a little quick bread on you guys.
I think
y'all got the clout. This is gonna be money. I mean, look at T Wood. T Wood's gonna make the most money he's ever made in his career fighting Jake fucking Paul. And T Wood is potentially a Hall of Fame MMA guy, right? You would say he's a Hall of Famer. And he's making the most money, he said, with this Jake Paul fight. So, that's the one thing, Floyd. He knows money, and these kids knocking him out's gonna get him paid. You know what I mean?
I think the best thing that's gonna happen in this whole hypeness, you got 50 camera guys there, and this whole hypeness is that Floyd Mayweather.
Look at this guy. Is he in the Karate Kid or is he gonna fight Floyd? Like
Floyd's gonna go out there
he's
and win
ready, bro. Look at him.
Look at the way that he's throwing those punches, bro. Come on.
Look at this, bro.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you guys this: have you guys seen a Logan Paul fight before?
Yes,
didn't he tie to KSI or something like that?
Yeah, KSI.
No, wasn't that his brother Jake Paul that fought?
No, it was him.
It was Logan.
He only fought KSI. I will give this. Right. His younger brother makes more noise than him in boxing because he has those Triller events and he knocked out Nate Robinson in dramatic fashion. But Logan Paul, I believe that he had the bigger audience, but. We haven't really seen him in the ring, so I think it's even more like what you're saying. Floyd Mayweather knows that this is the low-hanging fruit.
We have seen him in the ring. And if you go out there and watch that KS1 or whoever the guy was, I mean, come on, bro. He lost those matches. You're going to tell me that he's going to come out here and hit Floyd with a haymaker and knock Floyd out? Unless there's some kind of billions of dollars being laid out from some Saudi prince or somebody in, I don't know, that has the access to the printing U.S. money in the treasury, it ain't going down, bro. No. It's not going to happen. It's a money grab, and that's fine. More power to Floyd and this Logan Paul replaced Paul, whatever. And then you got Tyron, right? Tyron's facing his little brother. What's the other one's name?
Jake.
Jake's bigger than Logan.
I know. I get that. But Jake, he's showing a little bit more skill set in the boxing ring. But Tyron's going to put those hands on him. So we're going to get 2 Pauls knocked out in a matter of a couple of months. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I will say this, though. I believe that Jake Paul is the favorite in that Woodley fight. It's a little different than this with Logan.
Why is it a little different?
Because Logan's going to get his ass whooped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jake might have a shot.
That's a good point.
Like, my thing is, can Logan maybe win a round? Like, can he get one of these 8 rounds? Is he that, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the best this kid can hope for.
For him to win a round, he needs to outbox Floyd Mayweather. That's a 50-0 boxer that's been in the ring with, like you said, De La Hoya, Pacquiao. I just don't see it happening unless he's getting paid under the table to throw the fight, which I don't think he's going to do that. But the one thing that is interesting is that this is an unofficial match. So God forbid he does lose, it won't be on his record, right?
Right.
So that's something that a bettor does have to think about. I mean, not saying that he's going to do that, just saying it's not going to count towards his record. So is he going to lose? I don't think so. But will it be a show? Yes.
the thing is that who's going to take that action? You think somebody's going to lay 60 mil 6-1 and be like, what are they? You know what I mean? I think no amount of money is going to take away the reputation Floyd has built to be able to say, I'm going to lose to a YouTuber. Like, you know, it would destroy. I think right now these boys are getting clout because of the Ben Askren fight, and he's going out there knocking guys like Ben Askren. It's really going to lose credibility in the sport if you get a guy like Floyd to go fight, and then you get Tyron to go out there and lose. Then you got 2 MMA and a boxing guy. No, it's not going to happen. The hype train stops here. It is over. You know, you just get off at Forest Hills. Here's your stop. You're getting out at this hype train right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just over for these boys, and that's fine because they're milking the amount of money that they made.
It's interesting. How did this fight even come up? Like,
just Paul like the
Mayweather, really?
The Mayweather versus Conor. Like, it's all about like what people are clamoring for. You know, I think when you're a YouTube sensation or you got some sort of clout, it's almost like you can get anything done, to be honest with you. Nowadays, it's like if you have any sort of will of the people and you put in butts and seats, that translates to dollar signs. And if you're going to get 10 million views or 100 million, I mean, not 10 million views, if you're going to get 150 million views on something, then, you know who's knocking at Floyd may be knocking at your door to be on your YouTube video.
But you know Mayweather versus Conor, that was something kind of interesting because Conor was at his prime, and he, I even thought maybe he does have a chance. And when I saw him fighting, I was like, But
think about it. Go on Cameo.com. What is it? Cameo, is that it's called? You go out there, you could hire Floyd right now to put him on a commercial and be like, hey, the Daily Sporting. You know what I'm saying? Dollars make sense. You got people knocking at the door, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. I think that the dollars are making sense. He's not the A side in this. He's the AAA plus A plus another AAA. And
let's also not say that his last couple of pay-per-views haven't sold out. And Pauls bring some buzz. Mayweather.
Okay,
because he did a couple of side events.
Did you see what the biggest fight had, like, of all time? Go look at the top.
The top 10.
Come on,
yeah,
bro.
Mayweather's on like 7.
You're right, but also look at where Jake Paul. Look at where Jake Paul ranks. Jake Paul has 2 top 10 fights of all time, and he fought no one.
So what are we talking about? So what are we talking about here?
We're just talking about views and money now,
right? And fight. Jake Paul is actually up there with Floyd Mayweather on that pay-per-view list.
Pull him up, bro. Pull him up. Obviously, he is there. But my point is that how are you going to talk about the biggest box office draw, Money May?
Not anymore.
He doesn't box anymore.
Exactly. Like, all I'm saying is that Paul has a fan base that's going to come out, and we've seen that they've come out, and that's why this fight is happening. It's because, guess what? Paul does have an audience. Paul is a huge audience.
So Mayweather doesn't?
I don't think he has a bigger audience than Paul right now.
Shut up right now. Just shut up right now. I should stick you in the line with all these other reporters that don't know.
Let's read this. No judges, no official winner read. Knockouts are legal. KO up to ref discretion. No headgear. 12-ounce gloves. 8 3-minute rounds. Now no judges.
No judges. Oh, okay. So that was Floyd. You know that was Floyd because he was just like, if anything happens, I don't even want you saying he won. So basically, where's the benefit? What are we buying and watching here?
It's literally for legacy. That's what they're putting this all on. Bragging rights is what it's been monikered as, and it's literally saying this is what they've dubbed it as. The Showtime's been marketing it as an exhibition boxing match for the last month. Mayweather's in the conversation as the greatest boxer of all time, but if he can beat a social media influencer, he'll have real bragging rights. Why do they say that? Because guess what? The dude has enough views.
Winning, being the best pound for pound fighter, having every WBC title out there, IBO, WBC, everything out there. That's not bragging rights enough. When he beats Jake Paul or Logan Paul, that's bragging rights. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, look at what you have to set it up for something as a gimmick for the fight, and
No,
we
I
all
think
know this is a cash grab, and the reason why Floyd is fighting him is because guess what? He does have some audience. Otherwise, Floyd wouldn't even be wasting his time.
right. I think
And
Floyd
I
said
think
it best.
that
Floyd said it best when he was talking about one of his opponents. I can't recall exactly which one it was, but I think it was maybe when he was talking about Canelo or not. I don't know, somebody from Mexico. I think it was, and he was saying, why wouldn't he fight him, or Maidana? Why wouldn't he fight him? He has a whole country behind him, right? So when you have a huge fan base and so does Floyd. You acting like, everybody calls out Floyd even till this day because it ain't just nobody. It's Floyd Mayweather. You put Floyd against a rat, you put Floyd against anything. It doesn't matter. It's gonna sell. So it's just like Paul. I don't be smoking with the nothing, bro. At the end of the day, show me an example of when it hasn't. Show me an example, because I don't talk nonsense and hypotheticals. I talk facts.
His last couple of exhibition
What last couple? What last couple? The one in Japan? The one in Japan? Bro, are you kidding me? This guy got paid like $20 million.
This is the same exact level of that. This is the same level as that Japanese thing, right?
Bro, how was that marketed? Where was that marketed? Where is the excuse me, the king? Where is the dollars at? Where is the market at? Where does everybody?
You know where it's at? It's with the
blonde-haired
white guy.
Quick? Can you scroll down on that real quick?
Yeah.
Right there. Down. All right, stop there. Can you zoom in real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you something. To that picture on the left with the face off.
Yeah.
Right there. Zoom in on that picture real quick. This is how I realized that Floyd Mayweather is about to kick his ass when he showed up with no haircut to the face off.
I know.
No haircut. You see that?
It's the first time I've ever seen that.
He's about to whoop this guy's ass, bro.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, this, like we all know, this is a cash grab, money grab, and Floyd is just taking his ride on the money train. He knows these boys are bringing in views, and he just wants to get paid.
I wouldn't even bet on it. I wouldn't even bet on it
either. I wouldn't even bet on it either.
And I think the one interesting thing before we round this out, that I found about this fight was we looked at Floyd. He's going to weigh about 150, right? And then you're looking at Paul. Paul can weigh it at 190. But for every pound above 190 that he weighs, he gets fined $100,000 on his fighter check. So if he's 3 pounds over, he gets fined $300,000 or something like that. So I thought that was absolutely great. And when they were talking about his last fight with KSI, he weighed in at about 199. So he has to get down from his fighting weight from the other fights. So that's going to be the other thing, is what they were saying is when he was fighting at that lower weight, he tired out even faster. So, I mean, maybe Floyd finally gets a knockout. He hasn't had a knockout in a long time. Maybe he tires this guy out.
Yes. You brought up a good point there. He's going to be way more tired quicker. And Floyd is just going to run circles around him. And then as soon as he catches him, it's a done deal. I think it's going to be a knockout.
Taco does a disservice to the fight game. When you say things like that are nonsense, first off, Floyd has some knockouts on his record, bro. And when you're sitting out here talking about a YouTuber, long time. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter, bro. Like, at the end of the day, you're talking about professional boxers that are put up to literally compete in a sport to get
giving up 30 pounds to this man. That's a lot of weight.
Have you watched the early beginnings of the UFC?
No, how many big guys? I do think Floyd wins.
Scotty Dividends was talking about how he was watching some of the beginning UFCs, and a lot of these big guys, how many times did they lose? Go back and watch the Gracie fight, and where he submitted this big sumo-looking dude. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're talking about. You do a disservice to the fight game when you talk about just this guy had. So it's an advantage. You know when it's an advantage? When you got two professionals out there that know how to use their weight to impose their will on another guy, like you just talked about with Izzy and Jan, right? Jan was imposed his will. He was the heavier guy.
Right.
But you talk about Logan Paul, okay?
Being knocked out by Floyd Mayweather, yes. I said, do you think that Floyd can knock him out? Yes.
Yes, 100.
That's what I said. So
99.9.
That Floyd. When was the last time Floyd had a knockout?
Against another professional boxer.
This Saturday, hopefully.
That's what I don't.
Can we pull up what the betting odds? Do you guys can pull up what the odds on a Floyd knockout is?
I can pull
I
it.
would love to see
It
the
can't be.
odds on that.
It's got to be minus 1,000.
Mine is on the just for him to win is minus 1,000. So
I know, yeah. On a
So,
knockout, let's see. I can
if
pull up.
it's minus 1,000, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's minus 1,000. I mean, it'll tell you something about what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Vegas ain't put in no,
Let's see.
I'm looking to see if they're even is that type of line.
Because to me, I think that'll be so interesting. I mean,
when it gets closer to the fight, I know that on live betting, like they'll probably have updated odds.
yeah,
They don't have a lot of that, like William Hill, because it's an exhibition. Like they don't have the official. I think big dogs don't have. You got to kind of look through other means. Not financial advice, and we're not advising you to go anywhere else. But
yeah, I think as we get that info, we'll post it on one of our socials because the fight is this Saturday, so we're assuming that it'll come out relatively shortly. But yeah, it's going to be. Just like I said, it's going to be the fight of the weekend. It's not going to be the fight of anything else of the year or anything like that. It's just going to be fun.
If we're talking about this fight, we got to talk about the real boxing fights upcoming. The Earl Spence Jr. with Manny Pacquiao, Tyson Fury, and Wilder. Those are the real fights. This is just, I'm happy to get something like this because it's entertainment from somebody like me who's a Money May fan, the Money Team all day. That type of stuff. It's just fun to watch the craziness of Floyd Mayweather, the spectacle that always happens. Because insert name, no matter who it is, it's always like somebody's talking crap, somebody's trying to play Floyd, and Floyd just does what he does. He's Floyd, and he sells the fight just as much. Because, again, this isn't anything new. What happened with Jake Paul, with the whole, I got your hat, you got a tattoo on because he said you took his hat. Bro, you look stupid. And your fan base thinks that's funny. Good for you. I'm not knocking your hustle. I'm just saying at the end of the day, what happened with Conor? The same thing, the craziness. Before that, what happened with, De La Hoya, or just insert name. It doesn't matter. Just Vargas. Just keep going, and we got the same kind of thing. So I'm excited to see something like this. I don't like the people that say that this is just completely stupid because at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. It's just like when you tune into a movie. If you like sports or something that's athletic that has something to do with some sort of combat, I like it. So why not?
And I think that and I definitely think that. When we saw Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight, like that wasn't for anything other than just entertainment. And I think that's kind of what, when you look at a guy like Floyd now, he sees, these old guys doing it. And he's like, why not me? Why not me going there? And I think the fans are ready for it. And especially boxing. Boxing hasn't had juice in a while, other than Tyson Fury versus Wilder or Joshua, that whole triumvirate. I mean, Teofimo Lopez gave you a little bit of smoke when he took out Vinchenko. Triple G versus Canelo was a dud. Canelo's running through his division. So boxing needed the juice, and I'm happy that Floyd is back. I think the final question that we're going to have here before we wrap this bad boy up.
Nonsense out here. Like, you just a total slap in the boxing definitely needed a little bit of a rejoke because UFC has been so much more consistent at putting on events. Now that they got shows, Top Rank has got ESPN. They've got a lot of things going on, and they got a lot of good fighters out there. But selling out shows out here in Vegas, the Mandalay Bay. Literally just sold out a show with a London promoter with over 5,000 fans, and they had to expand to 6,000 fans. So when you go out there saying that boxing isn't doing anything, you need to do your research.
Is boxing where it was, and in comparison to where UFC is?
The reason Logan Pauls of the world exists and why he's in the ring with the Logan Paul. Because you sit there and you say some nonsense like that.
Well, honestly, but when we talk about rankings and people, but hold on, if you want to come with that, but their pay-per-views aren't selling out. They aren't moving units like they used to. It's not the same game that it is. They've had a big decline. Boxing is not what it used to be. And right now, these Paul guys are bringing more juice to the sport than it's had in a long time. And that's just facts. Let's look at these pay-per-view buys. These thriller fights are drawing more money than any of these fights that you're talking about. Earl Spence Jr. can be fighting in all these cards, and he could be a great fighter, but the casual fan is not coming in to see no Earl Spence Jr., and that's no disrespect to him, but they're not pulling in the numbers. But they're not pulling in the numbers. That's the fact.
They're pulling in the numbers, but that's because you don't watch boxing, right?
That's not the case.
It's not going to be in the top 10. No, it's not going to be in the top 10. Yes, I agree.
They don't make more money than Logan Paul.
We're just gonna have to pull up the numbers then.
Right.
I guess to see
but you
because
also
I
are
don't
right.
know. I don't know.
Because
right. And
okay, so
Chicago just talks
let me put this
nonsense.
question here.
He
Let me
just
put
says
this
things,
question
no,
here then,
nonsense.
because I
My
was
point
trying
is,
to round up.
everything
But like
everything is relative. Everything is relative.
everything is relative. Does
Can't,
Logan Paul outsell most of these boxing matches? Fact or fiction?
but again,
Fact or fiction?
but
Is he
let me talk
outselling?
though. Are you gonna let me talk? You gonna let me talk? It's all relative. That Thriller card, right, was set up with more than just. You're talking about like it's just Paul. Ben Askren has a following too. MMA. He was an MMA undefeated fighter before he got to the UFC. That got traded from one championship to the UFC and was a big name and a big draw in his own right. So for you to sit here and just say that these boys are going out there and getting regular. Go look at the KR
The
fight.
best thing Ben Askren's known for is getting
All
knocked
of
out
a
by
sudden you're
Deontay
back.
Wilder.
All of a sudden you stop spinning pay-per-view numbers, right? Now all of a sudden you
Yeah,
start.
let's go to pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, pull it up. But my point is, it's relative to what's going on in the event. You're not just putting them up against nobody, bruh. You're talking about a whole fan base. You're talking about a whole fan base that's behind
That's not what
the
I'm
other
saying.
side.
What I'm saying to you is this: you're
Put up any boxer against an MMA guy. Okay,
that's not. You're not. I don't think you're understanding here. Money wise, fans wise, they're coming to watch Logan Paul fight. Are they? Or
Oh
are
my
they not?
God.
They are.
So basically, it's just Logan Paul. And the other guy doesn't matter.
What I think that you're saying Taco, correct me if I'm wrong, is in today's day is that MMA and I guess Jake and Logan Paul they're making more money with these fights than any other, like say
They are. They are.
but and Dave, what you're saying is for boxing fans nothing has changed. People are still watching boxing as much
Right.
as they were yesterday and everything else, right?
Right.
What Taco is saying, I think, is that everything else is just generating more money. But you're also saying that there's still millions of boxing fans that never left watching boxing.
Right.
And
Right.
I understand both sides, but
No,
I
and
think that Taco is just saying that it's not generating as much money in this day and age because for whatever
no,
reason, and I don't know what the reason is, but
no.
we'll really have to pull up the facts definitely for
But
the next one because I
and
want
here's
to
what I
know
was,
now.
and
I want to know.
here's what I was telling him too, because Taco just likes to hear himself talk and doesn't like to understand what I'm saying either. At the end of the day, these fights, these Thriller fights, are, if you look at their undercard too, they put on a lot of guys, right? That yes, the main draw is what's on the marquee. On the marquee, you got Mayweather. You acting like Mayweather's not the cash cow of pay-per-views. When you look at the top 10, Mayweather's got 5 or 6 or 7 fights in the top 10, and he's just diminishing it like it's nothing, like it never happened. So okay, whatever, it's fine. It's just Paul then, right? No, and then you got Ben Askren. Ben Askren was a champion in his own right. It has the MMA community coming out to see this show. That was the biggest talked about media thing on the MMA side. That when he went to the event, what ended up happening, right? DC got in his face. He got more exposure from that audience. That fan base bought the fight, bro. Also, they don't go out there and only buy what Dana tells them. They go out there and buy entertaining combat sports type of events. The MMA and the UFC is not the only combat sport that exists. Boxing is not the only combat sport that exists. When you get multiple communities that are gonna want, you got Logan fans, you got Paul fans, you got Mayweather fans, you got MMA fans, you got boxing fans. Everybody, it's basically an event for everybody to come see. Yes, these YouTubers have millions of followers, but do not discount who the other people have too. This is a Mayweather promotion event. It's not a Logan Paul promotion event. So for you to just go out there and be like, oh, it's because Logan Paul. No, he knows he's going to make money.
That's not what I said. Not with this fight, but I am saying they are bringing in, and his brother Jake is pulling in big time money. Like I just found this article here that we have, which is
he did, but that's because multiple communities are coming together buying the pay-per-view. Look at the
There's gonna be a lot of MMA fans watching this boxing fight now because they just found out because of the last fight. So now there's gonna be so many more boxing fans because all the mixing and all the stuff.
Yeah, it's creating a bigger fan base. You know what I'm saying? Like all around.
Vice versa too. Now there's gonna be a lot of boxing fans watching MMA fights,
Right.
And it's I think
Right.
it's
And that's what I was trying to
oh,
say. What I was trying to say is that don't discount what what these events have done. They don't have boxing on there. They don't have
Yeah, this
the
one looks like it's
it's
it was
just
him comparing to UFC.
yeah.
But he had pulled in like what is it, 1.5 million buys for his exhibition match with
Bro,
Askren,
he didn't pull
and
1.5. He didn't pull 1.5. He didn't pull 1.5. That's not true. He didn't pull 1.5 million. He would have made way more money than that.
wait,
He was talking
he
about he
made
made
1.5 million?
1.5 million
everyone
buys.
is claiming between
Jake,
1.3 million
what was
buys
I
to
saying? Jake
1.5
claimed
million.
that. Jake claimed that. That's not official numbers, bro. Jake
Uh-huh.
claimed that number.
The-
If he's selling over a million, I agree. But he's not making 1.5, bro. Let's just get the facts. Let's lay them what they are, and that's with multiple fan bases. Is what I'm trying to tell you. Go back and look at boxing, and boxing still has, yes, mind you, special event like the Conor one. I think that's the highest of all time. I think it was that one.
I mean, there's listen, we can't confirm or deny because we don't have the exact buy numbers. Everything here is
No,
speculation.
that's a source though. That's a source. So 1.45, right? Obviously, could top 2 million. I don't know about that. What was that? Was that after the fight?
Yeah, and this was for the April 18th fight versus Askren.
And he
And his
didn't.
next fight versus Woodley probably is going to do bigger than that.
I agree. I think that
Has
fight
to.
has the potential to do bigger because now he's created
Yeah.
what Mayweather was, the adversary that people don't.
Yeah.
He knows he's playing his part. People want to see him lose. So of course, now it's going to probably.
I think that's also the best thing about Mayweather is that even though he is pay-per-view king, everyone turned in, or a lot, not everyone, but a lot of people turned in to see him lose. They're like, this is finally the guy that's going to beat him. And I think that was one of the best things that he did is he played his bad guy role very well. And I think that, like you said, Jake Paul has studied from that playbook and he's executing it flawlessly. He's turned himself from being a YouTuber to now fighting against Tyron Woodley, pulling in, like we said, sources are verifying anywhere 1.4 to 2 million buys. So whatever he's doing, it's working. And my point here is not that there isn't great boxers out there or anything like that, but the fight in boxing, really Tyson Fury was carrying a lot of the juice. And there is a lot of guys that are underneath that are very good that I hear all the time. But like you said, the common fan, they don't really know some of these guys. And I think that's part of boxing's problem. Dana White is very good about publicizing about who's his next guy, the up and comers. And there's no unified guy in boxing to actually do that. There's a million different belts.
It's harder in boxing because you got all these different commissions. And what UFC did great is basically create one company where they control everything. So it allows for more exposure, it allows for quicker fights. UFC created a market that the boxing fans were clamoring for. And that market purely exists because, Dana White was a boxing fan. He wanted to see some of the things that he changed and he created an environment for. But boxing fans, let's not mistake that we don't want to see great fights put on, and that there's no there's still fans that go out and watch and buy UFC.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember I bought tickets for the Tyson Fury versus Wilder fight. I went to the movie theaters to actually even see it. So trust me, I'm right with you. And there's a lot of big fights that we haven't been able to get. Like they've been ducking each other. This whole Wilder versus Fury thing has been caught up in litigation for so long. We thought that we might get Joshua.
But that's because the Anthony Joshua thing. I mean, they Anthony Joshua fight and Fury was made, and the fact that they couldn't get a deal done for Wilder, there was supposed to be a step aside money of like $20 million.
I love what Fury said. I'm not paying him to do shit. I'm paying him to take an ass whooping.
Yeah,
he said, I'm not giving him any step aside money. I thought that was great.
But there is a little bit something funny about that because here's the thing: if you take a step aside $20 million guaranteed title shot, and then let him go out there and fight Joshua, unify the world title, no matter who's the winner, you go out there and beat whoever it is, or at least have a title fight. And then you still are $20 million richer. So it just, to me, it sounds a little bit weird that what Bob Arum did with like not taking the fight to Saudi Arabia. I don't know if they didn't want to have the title fight there. See, this is the type of stuff that boxing fans were mad about. And when we talk about what you're saying, if you talk with this type of substance, then it gives you credibility to why you got people who are Logan Pauls going out there selling 2 million pay-per-views or 1.45, pay-per-views, because we wanted to see people fight. And when you can go out there and say, I want to fight Mayweather, I want to see Mayweather fight this, and it happens, people are buying it. So that's the annoying part about boxing. And that's what I think that would be a much more legitimate statement than just, I get the pay-per-view buys don't happen, but when you got big events and big shows, the money fights, the reason these MMA fighters are going to the only square circle that creates money is really boxing.
Yep. And I mean, if we think about it, Jake Paul actually just did a deal with Showtime. So now he's moving to Showtime. He's getting some pay-per-view things. So he's lining up some boxing stuff. He's looking like he's going to at least be here for a few more fights, which I think is good for everyone else because it gives them a model to follow. You know, when you're an up-and-coming boxer now, see what Jake's doing, figure it out, and try to make it work for yourself.
That would be embarrassing if you just study Jake's playbook.
Hey, it's working. But I think on the last thing that we're going to do with this is... All right, so we're gonna run it through. Everyone, give me a yes/no answer. Is Floyd Mayweather knocking out Logan Paul on Saturday night? You day first, yes. And what round?
Book it.
What round? 8-round fight.
Maybe the third. I would say the third or the second. To be honest with you, if you got a gun to my head, third round.
Third round. Okay. Scotty Dividends.
All right.
What we got for you here?
You know, I was thinking about it, and it's not going to be competitive. So I'm going to take back my answer. Maybe not in the first round. Maybe I think Floyd's going to play with his food, and he's going to let it rock. He's going to play with the string beans, push the beans over a little bit. And I'm going to say 5th round, my boy's going to be gasping for air. He's going to look at look to his boys and now, do it now. All right, cool. So I think maybe I'm calling the 5th round.
All right, and then for me, I think it's no fun if you don't have someone bucking the trend. So I'm gonna say no. Floyd Mayweather doesn't knock him out. I think it goes the full distance. I think Floyd does win, but he just doesn't knock him out. I think Floyd is gonna technically be more savvy out there. He'll dominate the fight, but I don't think it'll be a knockout. Like even Mike Tyson. I thought Mike Tyson was gonna knock out Roy Jones for a minute, but they didn't go that route.
Too.
So I just think it goes all 8 rounds. I think Floyd dominates, but I don't think there is a knockout. But I think it is a lopsided fight, and I think everyone gets paid. So it is what it is, and
except us.
Not yet. But you know what? When that Bang energy is coming, we'll get those affiliate leaks out for you guys.
Oh, we don't have the Weeble. Check out our description with Weeble 2 stocks. Oh, we don't have that or anything like that. We don't need those.
We're getting there. But until next time, I mean, next week we're gonna, or later this week, we're gonna have some UFC fights coming stuff up for you. We have the Izzy fight that's coming up. Dustin's gonna be having a fight soon. Stat's gonna be on our slate. We have the Wilder Fury fight that we're gonna be covering. So there's a lot of fight stuff that you're gonna be seeing.
Cover that Earl Spence too. So yeah, man,
definitely we'll cover him. Well, we'll be covering all the major combat sports that'll be coming up. At least over these next couple of months. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate everyone for coming out and experiencing your time with us. You got a question or comments?
I'm just saying, mad love to all the communities. We ain't hating here. You know what I'm saying? I got Taco's coming from a side of just trying to give y'all the numbers of what these YouTubers are doing, and I'm just trying to tell y'all that, like, hey, I've been a boxing fan my whole life, and I want to see the sport continue to do better. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things that it was a dying breed. That's why Dana created an environment where boxing fans went to. UFC. I'm a huge UFC fan. We're all UFC fans.
Boxing was looking like Julius Randle in the playoffs.
Oh, that's fire. It's true. It's the facts. And all I was
he was an all-star, but not tonight.
Say is that there's still a lot of good boxing fans out there, and it's it's a sport that has opportunities, but it's still cash cow when it comes down to big events.
Yep, and we'll be here for it, and we'll be right along with you guys, and we'll have some betting lines for some of this other stuff so we can make some money with you guys, because it ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. So that's what we about here, helping you win your bets. So until next time, we are out. This Electric Dave, Scotty Dividends, the talented Mr. Taco. We are out, and we leave you with our gripping exit song. Peace.
Yo.
Peace.
Hey, David and Taco, they bring that heat. All about UFC, way more than a fantasy. Let's see who going toe to toe. Throw down on the mat, check the replay, run it back. We gotta check the stats. Hey, do this every day. We ain't come to play. This is sports talk, and we love talking MMA. Everything fantasy sports. Dope for sure that I know. With Electric Dave and talented Mr.